today we are still in Radiance Month. So that is the month of June. We are radiating joy and laughter and love, yes? Yes, absolutely. So there we go, lighten up. Lighten up. So because it's Father's Day, I feel compelled to have to tell some father jokes, dad jokes. Right? My dad, as I said before, we called him Pops, and he was a jokester. He was a jokester. He worked for American Airlines for most of his career in data processing. But if we would go out and meet somebody new for the first time, and everybody would always ask, like, well, what do you do? Where do you work? And he would say, I'm a test pilot. Now, if you had seen my dad, he was about 5'8" and about close to 300 pounds. And he would tell it with a straight face, and there was no doubt in your mind that he was a test pilot. I mean, it just cracked me up. Like, people believed you, Dad? But I'm gullible because I believed my entire life that you had to get up at 2 a.m. to change the clocks because that was the only time. Like, you have to get out of bed at 2 a.m. to change the clocks when the time would change. And he also said that Ugmug created everything. Literally, Ugmug. Everything in the entire world was created by the caveman Ugmug. So that was my dad. That was my dad. But I do have some other dad jokes here. So why don't eggs tell jokes? Why don't eggs tell jokes? That's right, because they crack each other up. Give Santa some applause. The truth is, hopefully dads, right, will make you laugh when life is hard. Because life can be hard. Dads can be hard. But they can also remind you not to panic. I have to say, that was one thing that my dad was really good at. He was very calm. And actually, Jose is as well. They help you see the bigger picture. And they just, it's not that they provide direction, which they do, but they also provide light. And that's a radiant quality. With so much going on in the world today, there's a lot going on in the world today. I think that's one of the reasons why we're so afraid of cracking, that we forget that it's okay to laugh. It's okay to have some fun. It's okay to have a good time. Speaking of which, why do fathers bring an extra pair of socks when they play golf? That's right, because they're afraid of getting a hole in one. See, you're smiling, you're laughing. Isn't it interesting how quickly laughter can literally change the energy in the room? Nothing outside has changed, but everything within you has changed. And that's what we're talking about today. Right? Lightening up isn't about ignoring life. It's about bringing life to life. It's about bringing your light to life. So here's our affirmation for today. I am the light that lightens the load. Let's say that together. I am the light that lightens the load. And if you're watching online on Facebook, go ahead and type that into the comments and then share that with your friends and tag all of us in this room. So Jesus said, you don't find this very often in my talks, a Jesus quote, but here you go. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And the reason I picked this quote was because Jesus never said, not that any of us were there to fact check this, but he didn't say, carry more, try harder, stress yourself into enlightenment. Anybody ever feel that way? I do. As my husband will attest, I get stressed pretty easily. It's like, oh, that's not what this is all about. Just stress yourself into enlightenment. Hopefully nobody out there is feeling stressed when you come here. Because we at Unity in our principles and our teaching is inviting us to lighten our load, to literally lighten our load. Because many of us, unfortunately, are burdened with the weight of the things that we're carrying. How many of you are still carrying around some old stories right? And on Father's Day especially, if we did not have a good relationship with our father, we're still bringing a lot of that forward. Or we are beating ourselves up because we weren't the best father that we wanted to be to our children. It's interesting because my stepson is visiting for the first time since we've been in North Carolina, and he's 31 with his first baby, and I'm watching him be the most amazing dad. But he said to me, I just wish I could be there more. Like, I work 50 hours a week, and then I come home, and then I'm tired, and then I go to bed. I'm like, you are doing the best job that you can. Don't beat yourself up about that. But many of us are carrying around a lot of guilt, a lot of regret. Oh, I should have done this differently. Oh, I wish I had done that. The things that we wish we had done. All those missed opportunities. Or we need to control the outcome. Any control freaks out here? I didn't think I was a control freak. I don't identify as a control freak, but I do like to be in control. I do want things to work out the way I have envisioned them in my mind, but they don't always do that. We're carrying around a lot of spiritual weight when we do that to ourselves. And I want you to think about this for a moment. Ask yourself right now, what am I carrying that Spirit never asked me to? What am I carrying that Spirit never asked me to? Right? The need to be perfect. Right? Spirit didn't ask us to be perfect. We're already perfect. Right? We might also be thinking, I should be further along in my career, in my life, in my getting healthy. Right? Fill in the blank. I should be further along. Again, Spirit didn't ask you to be anywhere. You're always in the right place at the right time, right now. And then, all right, I hate to say this almost. I'm like, any of you carrying around original sin? If there's any recovering Catholics in here, right? I've been listening a lot in the car, as a matter of fact, with Jose to like the books of Mary and a lot of the different Bible books and religious teachings. And it pains me to think that so many people are walking around with that burden of thinking they're a sinner just because they're human. So you can release that right here and right now. Lighten up. Let it go. Let it go. I mean, and many fathers too, father figures, uncles, mothers too for that matter, are carrying around a lot of responsibility, like the burden of responsibility. We all have responsibilities. The question is, do you carry it like, oh, wait, the burden of having to put food on the table, right? The burden of having to put a roof over the house, the burden of, safety and security for my family. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with these things, but does it feel like a weight? Does it feel like a burden? Sometimes we want to give over that responsibility to the Heavenly Father above. Out there. Let me give it out there so I don't have to be responsible anymore. Now, in unity, we teach that we are the divine expression of God. We are that Heavenly Father. We are that Christ consciousness. We are all of that. So, if that's true, then when we let go and we let God as a way to lighten up, what we're doing is aligning ourselves with the divine within. So I can give it over to God, but what I'm really saying is I'm going to align myself with that power within me, that fatherly power, that motherly power, that spiritual power that is in me. That's a way to lighten up the burden that I feel like I have to do this all myself because I'm human. Well, I'm a human just in this form, but I'm a divine expression of God having a human experience. So today is an invitation for all you fathers, all you mothers, all you sisters, all your brothers, say that 3 times fast, that feel like you have to hold it all together by yourself. And, I got to hold it together. Well, I want you to reframe, hold it all together. Put your hands together like this. When we do that, when we are holding it all together, we are together with Spirit. We are co-creating our experience by holding it all together. So the next time you feel that heavy weight, do this and remind yourself, I'm holding it together with God because I'm a divine expression of God. So I can co-create with God. I never have to do this alone. All right, so what if the answer isn't to push harder, but to travel lighter? I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm sitting in my office and I'm like, I got to work harder. I got to get up earlier. I got to send out more emails. I got to post more in social media. I got to do this. And like, it's exhausting. Anyone ever feel that way? Right? And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be, work and social media. It could be anything that you're trying to be successful at. And it's like, So today and always, again, an invitation to let those burdens go. Let's lighten up with all of the things that we think we have to do. What are the things that we want to do? Let's focus on that. Let's let go of the responsibilities that no longer serve us, the relationships, friendships that no longer serve us. Let's focus on the ones that do. How about let's just lighten up all our stuff? We're starting to have conversations about downsizing from our house because my daughter moved out a while ago and we have this big 4-bedroom house that we don't need. And we're like, well, we need to start going room by room from the attic all the way into the garage. And there's boxes of stuff that we have moved from every home we've lived in. And I'm not exaggerating, and I'm sure some of you can relate. Every home we've lived in since we got married almost 30 years ago. I'm like, if we haven't opened the box, what makes you think we're going to now? I mean, I'm almost afraid to open some of them. Literally afraid to open some of them. So we can release a lot of the stuff. But I also think, lighten up is about our mindset. Stop taking things so seriously, and I'm talking to myself, right? We make everything so serious and important. We can lighten up our mindset. We can lighten up how we see the world. We can change our attitudes. We can move into gratitude. We can see the possibilities in things. And it changes our relationship to things out there when we change our mindset. Because you can approach anything through resistance. I don't taste that. Or I don't want to go there. Or I don't want to do that. Or curiosity. I wonder what that tastes like. We went out yesterday for lunch for sushi. And I remember the very first time we took our kids for sushi. They're like, ew, raw fish? That looks disgusting. We're not going to eat that. Now it's their favorite food. I'm not a big sushi fan, but it's their favorite food. And I remember they didn't want to taste it. So curiosity. We can look at things through fear or faith. My daughter just came back from a weekend. Her and her boyfriend went away to somewhere out in the western part of the state, and they did a whitewater rafting. And she sent us pictures. And her face, she looked completely terrified through these rapids. And the next picture, she was just cool, calm, and confident. So it was just that mindset shift of, I got this. Yeah, this is scary, but I can do this. So again, still the same boat, still the same rapids, completely different experience. I mean, think about, here's a story of two backpackers, giant heavy backpack, and they're hiking, and they're hiking, and they're hiking. One friend is complaining the entire way. Oh, what a load, what a load. The other one is just enjoying the scenery. It's like, oh my God, look at the tree, look at the flowers, look at the birds, look at everything. Completely different experience, but the same load. Just like when we're in the car. We took a trip to New York last weekend to go to my 50th high school reunion. We decided to drive. Oh, that's a long trip. And I knew it was going to be a long trip, and I decided, I have learned over the years that if I'm not enjoying the journey, don't go. Because you spend more time on the journey than you do in the destination sometimes. So you could complain the whole time about how long the trip is, how hot it is, how much traffic there was, or we could find an Audible book on the Book of Mary and listen to a fascinating story for 12 hours. It's just a shift in mindset and the way you see things. And it's all up to you. So joy is not a distraction from spirituality. It is evidence of it. That's one of my favorite quotes. Because joy is that internal light that expresses through us. When we smile and look at each other, that is joy. That is who we truly are, our inner light. And when we lighten up, our radiance is so evident. It is so evident. And again, we just feel like we're supposed to be serious and solemn when it comes to spirituality and religion. I mean, I grew up Jewish, and I went to the synagogue, and it was all in Hebrew, and the rabbis were very serious and solemn, and that's what I thought. It's like spirituality was serious. Religion was serious. Proverbs 17:22, a cheerful heart is good medicine. Right? It doesn't have to be serious. It should be joyful. So no matter what ails you, no matter what's going on, lighten up. Laughter can literally lift your spirit. One of the books that I was reading on the trip is this book called Disruption, or Disruptors. And there was a story in there about the Wayans brothers, or Wayans. People familiar with the Wayans? What I didn't know, this is a family of 10 kids. They grew up in a small apartment somewhere in New York City. One parent was a grocery store manager, the other one was a social worker. So needless to say, they did not have a lot of money. But Marlon Wayans said, the worst thing happens, and the first thing we think is, what's funny about it? Right? The worst thing happens, and he says, what's funny about it? So a mindset shift to look at no matter what's going on, can we find some humor? Can we lighten up a little bit? And he was sharing a story about they were burying an uncle. And they didn't have a lot of money, so I think the mother put like a T-shirt and a pair of jeans. And they were just saying, well, I don't know. If there's a dress code in heaven, Uncle so-and-so is not getting in. Right? So there's a perfect example. How do you take a situation that's not so great and make it fun, make it funny, or at least lighten up? So I want to invite all of us right now to ask ourselves the same thing. How can we shine our own lightness, our own light on any situation that we're dealing with, or any darkness that we might be seeing out in our communities, out in the world? One way that we do that is through outreach, when we collect for the different organizations that we do. But we can do it by just being kind to each other, by being generous with each other. We're just literally accepting each other for who we are. We're all divine expressions of God, and we're all uniquely different. So we can just allow each other to be who we are. So what did we learn today? What are our lessons? First one. Oops. There we go. Which way do I point this? First one, let go of whatever dims your light. What is dimming your light? Is it your mind? Is it stuff that you're still carrying around? Is it beliefs that, oh, I can't be happy? Whatever it is, let it go. Let it go. And approach life lightly. Tell more jokes. Laugh more. Shine your light so other people can shine theirs. So I have another dad joke. Ready? So a little boy asked his dad, Dad, how do you know when you've become old? How do you know when you become old? So his father smiled and said, when people start complimenting you on how you look, that you look good for your age. Like, oh, you look good for your age. You look pretty good for 68. So the little boy thought, he was like, okay. And then he said, so it's all downhill after kindergarten? So the truth is, growing older doesn't have to mean that we grow heavier. It literally means that we can grow lighter. We can grow lighter with love and laughter and joy. So let's finish up with our affirmation. Let's say this like we mean it. Ready? I am the light. Oops. It would help if I could work that. There we go. I am the light that lightens the load, and so it is. Namaste.